You ever miss someone you know was bad for you? Like deep down, you're fully aware they were the reason for half of your stress, but somehow your brain keeps replaying their laugh, their messages, those good moments. It's almost like your mind goes, "Hey, remember how nice it was?" while completely skipping the parts that made you miserable. And the weird part? You can't even explain why you miss them. You tell yourself you've moved on, but one random night their name just pops into your head like a song you didn't ask to hear. Don't worry, it's not just you. It's literally how your brain is wired. Because missing someone you shouldn't isn't always about love. Sometimes it's chemistry, memory bias, and a messed up comfort zone all working together to keep you stuck. So today, let's break it down piece by piece. Because once you actually understand why you miss them, it gets way easier to stop. 1. The psychology behind missing someone. The brain chemistry trap. Here's the thing, when you connect with someone emotionally, your brain starts releasing chemicals: dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin. These are the same chemicals responsible for happiness, bonding, and reward. It's your brain's way of saying, "Hey, this feels good. Let's keep this person around." Now, when that person leaves or hurts you, your brain doesn't just switch off that system. It panics. It starts craving those same chemical hits it used to get when you were with them. That's why it can feel like withdrawal. A study published in the Journal of Neurophysiology actually found that people experiencing heartbreak activate the same brain regions as drug addicts going through withdrawal. That's right. Your brain literally treats emotional loss like detox. Think about it this way. You're not really missing them. You're missing the feeling your brain associated with them. The rush, the excitement, the validation. It's like craving sugar after quitting sweets. You don't actually want the chocolate. You want the dopamine hit that came with it. And that's why people often go back to toxic relationships even when they know better. Their logic says, "This person's bad for me," but their brain says, "Just one more hit." 2. The memory bias. Your brain lies to you after a breakup or a fallout. Your mind starts editing the story. It's called rosy retrospection, a psychological bias that makes us remember the good parts more vividly and blur out the bad ones. It's your brain's way of reducing emotional stress. So instead of remembering all the arguments, the silent treatments, or the anxiety, you start remembering the small things, the inside jokes, the long talks, the way they made you feel in the beginning. It's like your brain is showing you a highlight reel, not the full movie. That's why a few months later you start thinking, maybe it wasn't that bad, when in reality it was. You're not actually in love again. You're in love with the idea your memory has created. Here's a simple example. You ever look back at school and think, "Those were the best years of my life"? Then you remember the exams, the drama, the pressure, and realize, nope, your brain just romanticized the past. Same thing happens with people. 3. The comfort zone of familiar pain. Sometimes we don't miss the person. We miss the familiar feeling they gave us. Even if it was painful, it was predictable. And your brain loves predictability more than peace. This is what psychologists call emotional conditioning. If someone made you feel intense emotions, love, fear, sadness, excitement, your brain associates them with aliveness. So when they're gone, normal life feels flat. You start missing the intensity, not the person. That's also how trauma bonds form. You get addicted to the emotional roller coaster. You confuse chaos for connection. It's like listening to sad music. It hurts, but it's comforting because it's familiar. So when you catch yourself missing someone who made you miserable, it might not be love. It might just be your brain saying, I miss feeling something. 4. The ego's role, wanting what you lost. Let's be honest, part of missing someone comes from our ego. When someone leaves, especially on their own terms, our ego takes it personally. It's like your mind goes, wait, you don't want me anymore? Psychologically, this ties into loss aversion. The fact that humans hate losing something more than they enjoy gaining something new. We overvalue what we've lost simply because it's gone. So now your brain starts replaying everything, not because they were the one, but because your ego wants to win. It wants to prove it could have gone differently. That's why sometimes the moment you get their attention again, the obsession disappears. It wasn't love. It was your ego craving closure. It's like when someone tells you that you can't have dessert. Suddenly, that's all you want. Your brain is wired to chase what feels out of reach. 5. Breaking the cycle. Understanding before letting go. The truth is, you can't just force yourself to stop missing someone. You have to understand why you miss them first. Once you realize it's your brain chasing chemicals, memories, and familiarity, not the person, it becomes easier to break the loop. Start by observing your thoughts instead of fighting them. When their name pops up, don't say, I shouldn't think about them. Instead, say, there's that dopamine craving again. Awareness literally rewires your brain. Psychologists often recommend journaling or mindfulness because it helps separate what you feel from what's real. You start seeing patterns. And when you do, you stop blaming yourself. Then replace those emotional triggers with new dopamine sources. Go for a run, start a project, reconnect with friends, pick up something that excites you. Your brain doesn't care where dopamine comes from, it just wants consistency. So feed it better sources. Slowly, those random waves of missing someone fade, not because you forced yourself to forget, but because your brain found healthier rewards. So next time you catch yourself missing someone who hurt you, remind yourself, you're not missing them. You're missing the chemistry, the comfort, the illusion, and once you see that, they lose their power over you. Because the truth is, you can't move on from someone who lives in your memories. But you can move on from the version of them your brain created. And that's when real peace starts to feel better than nostalgia ever did.